essential services, movement of agro products, and petroleum products. Note, there will be mandatory supervised isolation of returnees for at least 14 days. For markets and offices, neighborhood markets are to open 3 times a week from the hours of 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Banks and financial services are to open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Government offices are open only to staff from grade level 14 to 17 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Corporate offices and private sector are open to business from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Schools, churches, mosques, clubs, bars and gardens remain closed till further notice. COVID-19 is real. Take responsibility and stay safe.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Everyone likes a good meal, especially if it is prepared with fresh fish, such as those from the fresh waters of Ekpe. This is Ekpe, a town located on longitude 4 east and latitude 6.31 north, and approximately about 89 kilometers from Lagos. Ekpe presents a picturesque setting with its location on a slightly elevated land ranging between 30 to 60 meters above sea level. Ekpe is a riverine town with its waters bounded by thick mangrove swamp. Therefore, the occupations of the people traditionally include fishing, farming, carving, weaving, canoe building, fishnet, and fish trap making. However, like any other riverine community in Nigeria, fishing and fishing activities remain at top of the pack. It has assumed a prime importance and an industry that has become a symbol of civic pride to the people of Ekpe. It is therefore no exaggeration to assert that Ekpe remains the fish empire of Lagos State. The uniqueness of the people to perpetuate their traditional way of life is reflected through their organized approach in matters of fishing. Most times, it is family business, integrating entire members. Irrespective of scale, whether from a traditional subsistent level, using paddled canoes, to bigger boats using outboard engines, or to a large-scale dragnet system, the fishes are now at the mercy of the fishermen. Through cooperatives and other organized associations, many fishermen have been able to weather the storm. There is a customary practice by which middlemen are engaged to meet the fishermen on high seas and buy off their catch. They then resell to other big-time buyers at the beachfronts, who in turn sell to the market women. Like in gold, to dig for a good catch of fish depends on how far you can dig. Big fishes do not stay in shallow waters, and the type of fish also depends on the nature of the water.
Fish stay according to the size and the water. A small fish will never come to a shallow area, whereby if you want a big fish, you will go deep. You will go far to the shore.
Using different materials, patterns and methods, various types of fish are caught in Ekpe waters for your delight. From the traditional net throwing system to the bamboo pipe tubes or the multi-hook system, the people's creative ingenuity cannot be underestimated. How impressive that a vegetation such as this is actually a ruse for fish to house themselves. And no sooner would they be hauled into raffia-made fish traps planted strategically round the mound. At a point, however, the seeming good fortune of fishermen have to come to an end. This is the off-season, when there are less fishes in the river. In some parts of the world, when the off-season comes, most fishermen remain idle and have to wait until another fishing season commences. But this is not the case in Ekpe. This is because most fishermen in Ekpe also undertake artificial fish farming through construction of ponds, which are located not too far from the river. Why would most fishermen also own ponds?
The time of off-season in lagoon, so this one is certain. That of the river is uncertain. It's under perhaps. But this one, if you got it, you get pond, you introduce stock, you feed, so it will not disappoint you at all. You just need money, you come there, you come and take it. It's just like bank.
Fish farming in Ekpe has therefore been on a steady growth. In this serene, quiet and natural setting are many fish ponds which are providing steady source of income for the fishermen. The ponds are over 400 in number, dotted along the coastline, with catfish being the dominant breed. Combined with deep-sea fishing, little wonder that there are fishes at every corner in this market at Ekpe. Next time you visit Ekpe, be at liberty to walk straight to the beach area to have a feast of the rich variety of fish that Ekpe has to offer. Even when your visit is at a time when fishermen have to return in frustration from sea without any catch, do not worry. There must always be enough fish to eat at Ekpe.
Coronavirus, where the nickname na COVID-19, it not be big man who sickness, so if it catch anybody, according to World Health Organization, WHO, where then they call WHO, make I show you how the disease they take spread.
Oga travel go abroad, come back with symptoms of COVID-19 infection. As he land for airport, driver go carry and come house. His wife and pikin welcome am. Cook arrange food for Oga. Houseboy and housegirl pack Oga load enter house. Now so Oga begin spread this infection to him people. Driver go mechanic workshop, go spread them. Cook go open market to go buy one or two things. She go spread them too. Even house cleaner go back her house, go spread the same infection. Now so this coronavirus begin take style they spread from family to we country people.
So therefore, make we join hands, obey all the instructions where government and our medical people don't give us. So wash your hands with water and soap regularly, or use hand sanitizer. No go join body for where people gather plenty. Maintain social distancing. Above all, stay in a house as government don't advise. Stop unnecessary waka about. So make we not spread this virus.
Coronavirus. No be only big man like me they catch you. If it catch anybody, even poor man yourself if it get am. So make we join hand together. Take stop with this deadly disease where they kill our people and they never get a cure.
Together, we go overcome if we do all the things where they tell us to do.
Taking care of yourself is also taking care of others. We are all in this together.
Wanyoma. Tomato, just tomato. Hey! Sampete. Fine woman. I say make I salute you proper.
No, sir. Plain pepper soup on this table. I will pay.
Just blame for me too.
I will for master. Don't worry, blame for him. I will pay.
Change my friend.
Do you not know that our enemies have no face? They are indigents of no state. They come from no place. And if this boat capsizes, every one of us will go under. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer. Do not say, I am the Iroko when the forest is burning. Do not say, I am the Obeche when the forest is burning. Our differences will not stop us from perishing together. So when the drums sound, let everybody answer.
Hello there, you're welcome to the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Obiageli Ugoke, but first we'll bring you the headlines. Nigeria cases top West Africa sub-region and coronavirus infections as House of Representatives set to investigate research status. Information and Culture Minister inaugurates post-COVID-19 committee to assess impact on creative industry. And federal government and Kaduna State sign agreement on water projects. And now the details. The Presidential Task Force relied on global experience to advise on the easing of lockdown. PTF Chairman Boss Mustafa at Tuesday's briefing said institutions are expected to use the 2 additional weeks to plan on reopening of the economy in coming weeks.
Will be deepened with different segments of the society, including the state governments, security agencies, religious and community leaders, to ensure a coordinated implementation of the measures.
To continue strengthening response in states, the Federal Ministry of Health and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control are assessing isolation centers all over the country, recently in Yenagua and Oshogbo. We also continue providing diagnostic commodities and facilities in collaboration with partners.
Director General NCDC Chike Hekwazo advocates wearing of masks, hand washing, and appropriate use of PPEs for health workers remain relevant as a way of life even after COVID-19, as most of the infections among health workers were contracted before the patient is examined due to the fact that the health worker is not well protected. However, public places, including worship centers and schools, remain closed, while health persons advised to continue to maintain social distancing, and the PTF will continue to provide adequate education and create awareness, particularly in the communities.
Procurement plans of our institutions.
Self-awareness, particularly of the risks, taking ownership and personal responsibility is particularly important at this period.
And on our COVID-19 update, Nigeria records highest number of infection cases from coronavirus in West Africa sub-region as President Donald Trump threatens to stop funding World Health Organization permanently. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday has these and more on COVID-19 updates.
United States President Donald Trump has threatened to permanently halt funding for the World Health Organization and pull out the United States from the UN Health Agency if it does not make substantive improvements in the next 30 days. Meanwhile, at the 73rd World Health Assembly, Director General of the agency, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said the world needs a stronger role of the organization in coordinating and leading the fight against the unseen enemy of the world.
This contagion exposes the fault lines, inequalities, injustices, and contradictions of our modern world.
On the dashboard of the Johns Hopkins University at about 7 p.m. local time, 4,942,687 persons have been infected with COVID-19 globally. Out of this number, 321,987 have died and 1,936,501 have recovered. In Africa, South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar and his wife Angelina Teny have tested positive for the coronavirus. Machar made this known on state television and that he would be in self-isolation for 14 days. The continent now has 88,172 confirmed cases, 2,834 deaths, and 33,863 recoveries. Nigeria now tops the chart of countries with the highest number of infections in the West African sub-region, which ECOWAS Social Affairs and Gender Commissioner Siga Fatima Jang says there is the need for more efforts in the home fronts to curtail the spread.
It's the women who are totally in charge of the families. It's only through the women that we can sensitize them, because the community cases are the most difficult ones to deal with.
Nigeria now has 6,175 persons infected with coronavirus. 4,340 active cases after the recovery and discharge of 1,644 people, and has recorded 191 fatalities. Lagos, Kano, Katsina, Borno states and the Federal Capital Territory are at the top, while Imo, Bayelsa, Anambra, Benue and Abia states remain at the bottom of the ladder. I am Adebola Brooklyn Sunday.
Many thanks, Adebola. Now, joining us through Skype is the Special Assistant to the President's Media and Publicity Office of the First Lady, Mr. Aliyu Abdullahi, to speak on measures as contained in the package announced by the Presidential Task Force Chairman. Mr. Abdullahi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Mr. Abdullahi, the extension of lockdown has come with a stimulus package to address various challenges occasioned by the impact of coronavirus. What's your take on that?
I think the federal government has done quite well. Other groups, stakeholders in the Nigerian project, individuals, companies, private sector. Let's start with the federal government, for example. We are aware about the various stimulus packages ranging from palliatives, such as food distributions through the humanitarian ministry. And we are also aware on also other stimulus packages from the government on the economic angle. Companies, sectors, industries, such as even yours, like broadcasting industry, media, They can apply to Central Bank of Nigeria. They can get some stimulus package from there. So I mean, there are a lot of things that the government is doing to curtail the hardship that is occasioned by this pandemic. The Office of the First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, has done a lot in this regard. She has distributed drugs, hospital equipments, food to virtually every state of the federation, and she's still doing that as we're speaking. Today, our team are in Yobe. Some today, I was coming from another food distribution to in Abuja environment, and she has done that especially in high burden states like Kano. She has distributed drugs and hospital equipment, including ICU facilities to hospitals, around the country. So, and we have seen also good Nigerians, good Samaritans from Nigeria, be it the organized private sector, even individuals, even within your locality. If you look around, you will see one kind of initiative going on or the other. This is when our spirit and as Nigerians is being tested, and also we will see our citizens rising up to the occasion and meeting up, helping each other. I think that's one positive to take away from this pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of helping.
Now, in the face of increasing number of new cases recorded every day, most people don't seem to come to terms with the reality, but are more concerned with living their normal lives. Where do you think this approach will lead us to?
I think it's a really wrong approach by people not to take this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic as a serious challenge that is facing the whole world, the entire world, not only Nigeria. I have observed also with great dismay exactly what you are asking, that people are trying to let down their guard. They felt perhaps that this is something because of so many unguarded utterances from people, either some of them who contracted the disease just because they were cured, or the symptoms of those, the nature of the ailment that actually became presence was cured. So they felt as if perhaps some are thinking this COVID-19 is a hoax, but it's not. It's real. It has taken people that we know. When you look around, you will see one or more of people that we know. We have heard about the deaths in Kano. Here in FCT, we have seen some deaths in Lagos. Around the world, it's evident that COVID-19 it's real, and we have to take all necessary precaution. We cannot let our guards down. It is not the time, because there is no cure, there is no vaccine, and we have to follow the guidelines that our health officials and government are giving us every day.
Thank you very much.
And those guidelines are simple.
You, Mr.
We have to exercise physical distance. We have to also conduct ourselves in the most basic hygiene culture, washing of hands,
exactly,
all the time.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullahi. That will be all for now. We appreciate you for sharing your thoughts with us.
You are welcome.
That was Mr. Abdullahi, Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity Office of the First Lady. Moving on now, all things being equal, millions of Nigerians may not have to pay to receive quality healthcare delivery services in the country. This is because the National Council on Privatization approved the preparation and presentation to President Muhammadu Buhari a draft legislative instrument to enact the Health Sector Reform Bill and associated legislation. Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, who paid a brief visit to the villa, says the National Assembly has also set up a committee to address post-COVID-19 issues, among which is the health care delivery system. Away from that, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has inaugurated the Post-COVID-19 Initiative Committee with a call on all members in the industry to galvanize support for the committee in the overall interest of the industry. Anthony Forsin completes the story.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, at his meeting with members of BON recently, announced the setting up of a committee to advise the federal government on how best can the sector be supported under the COVID-19 hardship. The minister made the point that the committee will accommodate all stakeholders. And so, at Tuesday's virtual inauguration, the minister said, in view of the devastating impact of COVID-19 on the creative industry, it has become imperative to collectively galvanize government support and approach in handling the immediate, short and long-term economic stimulus and initiatives for the industry to mitigate the effects of the pandemic on the sector.
The creative industry is a very critical sector of the nation's economy and a major plank of the economic diversification policy of this administration. It creates the highest number of jobs after agriculture, especially for the youth.
He commended the committee members for their sacrifice and love for their fatherland, urging them to do justice to the assignment which will help the industry expand and thrive.
I know this calls for a lot of sacrifice. It calls for a lot of commitment. And whatever is the product of this committee will be, the fruit will be enjoyed by the entire industry.
The 22-man committee has ace comedian Ali Baba as chairman, while Anita Eboigbe will serve as secretary. Responding on behalf of other members, chairman of the committee, while expressing appreciation for the honor, said it is gratifying to note that the creative industry has been given a pride of place by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, assuring that members of the committee will work in unison to represent the creative industry by advising the government positively. The committee's terms of reference is to assess the expected impact of the pandemic on the industry in general, as well as advise the government on how to mitigate job and revenue losses in the sector and also create succor for practitioners. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the extent of government's coordination, supervision and funding for medical and pharmaceutical research in the fight against COVID-19 and other diseases in Nigeria. The issue coming on the matters of urgent importance from Deputy Minority Leader Toby Okechukwu seeks the repositioning of medical research in order to develop indigenous solutions to the healthcare needs of the country. A motion from Representative Tanko Sununu urging the federal government to ensure protection of and pay salaries to healthcare workers of the FCT was supported by lawmakers. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila expressed concern on irregularities in salary payments for the FCT health workers, stressing that the intervention of the House will hopefully arrive at an amicable resolution. The lawmakers also resolved to intervene on sacking of casual workers by the Warri and Kaduna refineries and petrochemical companies in view of the economic implication on those affected amid the coronavirus pandemic. In the meantime, another committee has been set up to review the legislative agenda of the House of Representatives in line with present realities. You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. Time to take a short break. We shall be back with more reports in a moment. Stay with us.
This is a very important message. Operation wear your mask, especially for people who don't old. No forget, your body no tranga like before. You not even tranga like your children or your grandchildren. So therefore, always wear your mask for this pandemic period. No they to receive visitors, so even if na your grandchildren. Make extra mask where you go fit wash, make like 2 and that's your number 1. And if you dey come out for house, wear your mask always. And if you come back, wash your hand with soap and running water to avoid coronavirus. Make you for live long for your children and your grandchildren. No forget, Operation wear your mask, especially for people who don't old. Protect me, I protect you. Na coalition of societies for the right of older persons in Nigeria, COSROPIN, join body with National Orientation Agency, NOA, bring on this message.
times like this, the coronavirus is spreading so fast. The use of face masks has become very vital. More importantly, for the elderly in the society whom their immune system is not strong enough to fight the disease. If you must go out, use a face mask. It is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Wear your mask, I wear my mask. So much to do, but stay at home for your own safety. Make an extra washable mask and share with your neighbor. Everyone should use a face mask once you leave home to be safe from the coronavirus, especially the elderly persons in our society. Protect me, I'll protect you. This message was brought to you by the Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSRAPPing, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Many thanks for joining us. Moving on, the extension of lockdown by the federal government comes with renewed plans to tackle COVID-19. I have in the studio Dr. Philip Eteng, a public affairs analyst, to discuss further on the implication. Dr. Philip, it's glad to have you join us. Now, given the increasing number of infections recorded on daily basis, how do you think the lockdown will assist in containing the spread?
Well, thank you very much. I think the lockdown is just to prepare citizens on the way or the new way of doing things. Because as far as I'm concerned, the media has done so much in terms of sensitization.
Thank you.
Then the lockdown has been long. As far as I'm concerned, it should be eased by now, especially in areas of small and medium scale.
The lockdown should be eased by now. Why do you think so?
Yeah. We've gone like 5 weeks in FCT.
But the cases keep increasing every day.
Yeah, that's to tell you that it's not, the virus is not, it's not something that will just go overnight. Even if you lock down another 1 month, the virus will still keep increasing, or it may come down. But from the time we started the lockdown up to this time, we've seen that the graph has been shooting up. It has not even come down. Sometimes may have low infections, but that may be as a result of maybe the number of tests carried out is not much. That's why we have that low infection. But what is now left is for the citizens to take responsibility. It's not about easing the lockdown or continuing with the lockdown, but it's for the citizens to take responsibility. Because no matter how long you keep us at home or you keep everybody at home, and maybe you open markets some days, open some places some days, people go there, get it, because now the infection is that it has already gone into community transmission. People will still take it back home and whatever. But the most important thing now to be done is everybody, every citizen to take responsibility.
All right,
there should be social
Dr. Philip,
on the way of doing things now.
Okay, you maintain all citizens should take responsibility. That's fine. Then, how would you assess the various measures put in place by the federal government to curtail the spread, like the palliatives and wearing of face masks?
Perfectly well. They've done well in terms of that. Government has shown a lot of commitment on how to cope this virus. They came up with a lockdown, which citizens, most citizens obeyed. But if you still go out, you find out that most citizens were not obeying the lockdown. People still drive out without, some even don't believe that there's still virus. Some believe that the government is is giving so much attention to the virus, which is not so. If not that, we lost maybe some prominent people too.
Okay, well, what do you have to say about the palliatives and wearing of face masks particularly?
The wearing of face masks is okay. You can see what Cross River State government is doing. Sometimes some people, though they say it's not doing right, but if you can see that for over 2 months now, we've not really recorded deaths or infections, even though you might say that's because testing were not done. But if testing was not done and there was no, whether there is infection or there's no infection, it's possible people are infected and maybe get healed, because when you get to the hospital, it's just to manage the symptoms of the virus.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Philip. Yes. We appreciate you once more for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And that was Dr. Philip, a public affairs analyst. Away from that, following the extension of lockdown of Kano State by Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 for another 2 weeks, Kano State government has released operational guidelines for easing the restrictions. He said after a series of meetings with key health experts, the ulama and other stakeholders, the state government adopted some measures that will further bring relief to the populace, with the partial lift on the lockdown of 3 days, that is Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. local time, with a total relief of 12 hours per week, as earlier recommended by the Presidential Task Force. Malam Garba said Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has directed the state Hizbah board to hold meeting with imams and deploy its personnel to Friday Jumat mosques across the state. In the meantime, the federal government and Kaduna State have signed an agreement for execution of Itisi multi-purpose dam project to, among others, supply water to Kaduna metropolis and its environs. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu and Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State signed Memorandum of Understanding of the project in a virtual meeting. Musbao Danwahab reports.
The relationship between federal and Kaduna State governments represents the kind of partnership the Federal Ministry of Water Resources has been canvassing to develop the water, sanitation and hygiene wash sector. And Kaduna State government is leveraging on this to achieve its goals. Barely a few weeks after President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated the Galma Regional Water Supply Expansion Project to supply Zaria and its environs, Governor Nasir El-Rufai visited the Water Resources Ministry to ask for more. It is now a prayer answered with the signing of an MOU for the execution of Itisi multipurpose dam to supply water to Kaduna metropolis and its environs, along with an irrigation infrastructure of about 35,000 hectares, in addition to generation of about 40 megawatts of hydropower. The federal government is to handle the detailed engineering design and construction of the dam.
Then Kaduna State government will take care of the aspects of the water supply, that is treatment, distribution and storage, and also the 35,000 hectares of irrigation development that is involved. Then the hydropower company will be looking for a private sector involvement, a PPP arrangement.
Governor El-Rufai says the state government craves for these projects as part of its sustainable plan for the growing population of Kaduna metropolis, which represents 1/3 of the state's population.
We are approaching both the Africa Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank to get long-term funding. The estimate will need about $600 million to be able to implement our own component of the project.
Less than 2 weeks ago, the federal government has just concessioned the 30 megawatts hydropower components of the Gurara Dam to power the industrial area of Kaduna State. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Away from that, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, is to take legal action against individuals and corporate bodies involving in power theft. The company stated this after finding some entities bypassing prepaid meters in the Federal Capital Territory. Mia Ogide reports.
Shashilga Court, apartments and offices, standing tall at the Jai district of the Federal Capital Territory. Tall also in power theft.
Using the language of today, this is the coronavirus of the power sector, theft of energy.
Probably Shashilga Court is among those raining abuses on the nation's power sector for non-performance. But it is the culprit. This entire complex and beyond is bypassed. Pay no electricity bill for only God knows since when.
The cables have been compromised, load had been bypassed, including a whole unit right inside the feeder pillar here, which is the 3 phases, diverted to a different area. And this is quite unfortunate. NEC has said when you find a situation like this, you are allowed to back bill for 6 months. But unfortunately, we don't even know for how long this one has been happening. Probably may have been happening for about a year. So we have back billed them for at least 6 months, and that's coming to, because we have lost about 270,000 units, that's coming to about 18 million.
No one was on ground to speak in defense, apart from the staff who are even struggling to hide their identities. DNL Motors in Jabi was another crime scene, as it were. AEDC staff were denied entrance initially, but when finally gained entrance, it was a near-perfect crime. But the AEDC technicians brought the expertise to uncover the illegality.
There's an auto repair company there, manned by some Chinese people. There is also a hotel there, and then there is a residential apartment. There are about 6 meters there. 5 of them were compromised. The 6th one is intact. That one is okay. So we have been losing a lot of revenue. But one thing is clear, we are ready to fight this to the last, using legal means.
For AEDC, Shashilga Court and DNL Motors are just 0.09% of those involved in such illegal practice, and more of such routine checks will be on daily basis. Mayor Ogede, NT News.
And that concludes this news package on NTA International. Please don't forget to maintain social distances and wear your face masks regularly. No face masks, no going out. Many thanks for watching. I am Obiageli Ugoke.